Today we are diving into the UEFA Champions League elimination drama. With the new format, there are 8 spots for the direct qualification and 16 more playoff spots. The last 12 teams of the new league system will get eliminated, so 12 teams have already fallen, and in this video we are taking a closer look at their path to elimination, including the key games that cost them their spot in the knockout rounds. How did they get knocked out? Let's find out. First up, Young Boys from Bern. No points in 8 games led to their brutal elimination. While it's getting big defeats against Barcelona 5-0 or Atalanta 6-1, they also had no chance against weaker teams like Celtic, Shakhtar or Belgrade. With only 3 goals scored throughout the group stage, Young Boys' offensive struggles were glaring. So the elimination is completely deserved for this weak performance. Therefore, they finished last. The Slovakian team had a dismal run, losing all 8 of their group stage matches, like Young Boys. Their inability to compete at the highest level was evident as they were outclassed by every opponent, losing 3-1 to Bayern, Stuttgart and Atletico Madrid, as well as to Dinamo Zagreb and Celtic with 5-1 and 4-1. The reason they didn't finish last despite conceding much more goals is that they also scored much more. The Austrian side conceded too many goals in their group stage, and their defensive lapses, combined with their lack of firepower up front, left them on the outside looking in. They had to deal with heavy losses: 4-1 against Atletico, 5-1 against Real Madrid, 5-0 to Leverkusen and 3-0 to PSG. Strong opponents, but they conceded way too often. Against weaker teams like Brest or Zagreb, they did not better, scoring no goal against them. Only a 3-1 win over Feyenoord saved them from finishing last. The Spanish club had a chance to make waves in the Champions League after their impressive last season, but inconsistency against bigger teams saw them finishing 33rd. While they showed some promise, it wasn't enough to advance. They only scored a few goals and often lost tight games where they fought hard, like the 1-0 loss to Liverpool, PSG or Milan, or the 2-1 loss to Arsenal. In fact, they lost every game with just 1 goal difference, expect the 4-0 blow against Eindhoven. They got their only win against the weaker side of Bratislava. Despite high expectations, Leipzig flattered, securing just 1 win and failing to perform consistently. Their shaky defense and a few missed opportunities in crucial games led to their elimination. After not winning the first 6 games, they were already eliminated early. They had a bit of bad luck losing against strong teams like Liverpool and Atletico with just 1 goal, or against Juventus after leading 2 times. Following losses against Inter, Celtic and Aston Villa crushed their hopes for the knockout stage, making them maybe the most disappointing team of the league phase. With only 1 win in the group stage against Salzburg on the first match day, Sparta Prague couldn't overcome their rivals. Defensive frailties and a lack of attacking threats doomed their Champions League hopes. 5-0 against Manchester City, 6-0 against Atletico Madrid and more losses left them having no chance to advance. A draw against Stuttgart gained them 4 points and therefore they place ahead of RB Leipzig. And at this point, also don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel to support us. Austria Sturm Graz faced an uphill battle from the beginning, and their inability to get key points against even low-ranked sides resulted in them crashing out. They often fought well and didn't have the hardest matches either, but they lost tight games against Dortmund, Brugge, Brest, Sporting and Lille. Surely not 3 wins, but if you want to advance, they have to get a few points out of these games. At the end, they won 2 meaningless games against Leipzig and Girona, who were also eliminated. A disappointing campaign saw Red Star fail to secure a spot in the playoffs. Whilst having a good attack, they had problems in the defense, conceding the most goals after 2 pointless teams. To be fair, they had really difficult games, like Barcelona where they lost 5-2, or Inter which they lost 4-0. With a win against Young Boys on the final match day and an impressive 5-1 win against Stuttgart, they still got 6 points. The Italian side had a tough time, with only one win and several draws. Their lack of clinical finishing and inability to overcome tougher opponents meant they were sent packing after the league phase. A win against a disastrous Dortmund side and 3 more draws only got them 6 points, getting them also eliminated. The losses against Liverpool, Lille or Monaco were all tied as they only lost by 1 goal, but it also showed their lack in the offensive zone as they scored only 1 goal more than the young boys. Shakhtar had really hard opponents. They did what they could by winning against young boys and Brest, but against stronger opponents like Bayern, Arsenal or Atalanta, they had no chance. With a draw against Bologna, they had 7 points, finishing above the Italians. Despite a solid squad and a surprising season last year, Stuttgart struggled against the bigger teams in their group. Their decisive loss to PSG with 1-4 and failure to secure points in crucial games led to their early exit. A draw against Sparta was not good enough, and a further loss against Atalanta and Belgrade were too much. They still won against Juventus and secured 10 points in the end. Their elimination is therefore no shame, as Stuttgart is a team that nearly got relegated 2 years ago. It is no wonder that the team will not succeed directly on the European stage. Zagreb failed due to the lack of consistency. They won important games against weaker opponents, but also failed to secure the win against Celtic, where they drew 0-0. Losses against Dortmund, Arsenal and the memorable 9-2 against Bayern meant that they had to win the last game against Milan and hope for the right result in the other games. They actually won this game 2-1, but as Sporting didn't lose, they were eliminated with 11 points due to their worse goal difference. There you have it. 12 teams who fought hard but couldn't make it past the 2024-25 UEFA Champions League group stage. Each team had their own journey, but in the end, they all faced fierce competition and came up just short. Which of these teams do you think will bounce back the strongest next year? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching guys, and see you